Dear students, you are going for the third test, which is called as situation reaction test. Now, this test is basically to identify your maturity, your intelligence, your attitude, your reactions to different situations, your wisdom, and many other qualities via the different situations, right? So, automatically in this test, there are 60 SRTs which are given to you. You're given a 30 minutes time to attempt all or as much as you can. So we have also done this, that we have given you 60 of them and given you 30 minutes for the same. Yes, to make sure that you don't have all of them in display, we have put one by one. You can click and the next one will come up. You can click spontaneously, you can click after a pause, but respond and write. This way, from your home itself, you'll be able to practice this SRT test. There you will have it in a sheet of paper and you'll have to write in another sheet of paper, writing fast. Don't miss the sequence, and in case you don't understand thing, please write the number of the same. Like you don't understand 5, so write 5, and then you write 6 and write the response. Don't mix the response, don't panic, do calmly, you'll do well. And what you got to do is you should write a proper solution. You can use clause methods of writing. Clause means a set of words to express one response. If you have 2-3 responses, you can write. Generally, a suggestion that you should write into 1 to 2 lines so that you are able to respond to maximum. But it is not that important that you have to respond to all. It is important that you respond rightly. So best luck for this test. Do well. God bless you. Best luck.
SRT 1. During the examination days, he had studied till late in night, and he has just about dozed off when cries of fire help reached his ears. He SRT 2. He happened to visit his uncle in the forward areas. When the war started, his uncle's bunker was bombed. He SRT 3. Though his joke was well meant, his friend became angry, and so he SRT 4. He was rather young when his father was killed in the war and his mother kidnapped by anti-group. He SRT 5. In his free period he wanted to study, but his friends were continuously disturbing him and he SRT 6. One of his class girl had wrongly reported against him to the principal for abusive language. He SRT 7. The last day for submission of application forms come but one of his testimonials was yet unattested and the clerk refused to accept his application. He SRT 8. He was required in Varanasi at the earliest, but when reached the railway station the train was overcrowded and he had a 48 hours journey to convert. He SRT 9. It was 2 o'clock in the early morning when he was startled to find a big cobra near his brother's cot. He SRT 10. They were traveling by train when one of the compartments caught fire. He saw people trying to jump off from doors as well as windows. He SRT 11. In a group discussion some of the people were not agreeing with him. So he SRT 12. He fell seriously ill just before his examination and he SRT 13. There was rush at the platform, and the train was about to start, but the coolie carrying his luggage could not be traced. He SRT 14. He had gone mountaineering with his friends, and their leader chose a rather steep track which was very slippery. It was extremely cold, and one of the party slipped right into a crevice. He SRT 15. Whenever his opinion differs from that of others, he SRT 16. He had to go to the city from his village to take his examination, but due to unexpected floods, the train services were suspended. He SRT 17. The money which his father used to send every month was no longer sufficient for his need, therefore, he SRT 18. He was not getting along well with his new classmates, and therefore he SRT 19. He his friend were to put up a variety show that evening for the visiting Minister of State. Unexpectedly, his friend's father, who was already ailing, became serious. He SRT 20. Being the last year's champion of the state table tennis, he was too confident of victory in this year's batches, but when he lost the first game to his opponent, he SRT 21. Once he was steering a boat in the sea, when all of a sudden a storm came. He SRT 22. He was watching the river flowing fast under the bridge when he suddenly noticed a man desperately fighting with the current. He SRT 23. His elder brother wanted to celebrate the death of their very old father, but he felt otherwise. He SRT 24. It was midnight when he was awakened by a man's shrieks. He found one poor farmer was being beaten up by four fellows with lathis. He SRT 25. He woke up in a running train to find all his luggage missing. He SRT 26. He was returning alone from a midnight show when he spotted behind a group of trees two goodness blindfolding ladies. He SRT 27. He was made captain of the tug-of-war team, and the match was to be held the very next day. He SRT 28. He and his friend were going for an afternoon walk on a cold windy day. Suddenly two men surrounded his friend and started removing his wristwatch. He SRT 29. During the examination, he felt that some of the questions were too difficult for him to answer. So he SRT 30.1 night when his parents were away in their village, his younger brother developed a high fever and became unconscious. He SRT 31. He was out on a picnic with his friends when one of the boys stole some mangoes from the garden and the gardener came out with his stick. He SRT 32. He was on board a ship for training when a telegram arrived informing him of his father's serious condition. He SRT 33. He urgently had to accompany his friend on cycle at night to the latter's house, which was 5 miles out of the city areas. They had hardly reached halfway when a gang of robbers surrounded them. He SRT 34. He was beaten by some of his class fellows as he was trying to dissuade them from joining the strike. He SRT 35. It was during the match that one of his teammates hit the referee in anger and situation became more tense as the spectators grew agitated. He was the captain of team. SRT 36. While playing a hockey match, he twisted ankle badly. He SRT 37. The subject of the debate was a hot one, whether the students' union in colleges should be allowed to continue. He SRT 38. He had reached Jamnagar that very day during the Pak aggression in 1965 when a bomb was dropped by the enemy in his locality. He SRT 39. He was serving under two officers who were always against each other and used to give conflicting orders. He SRT 40. Late one night while he was rushing on his cycle to get medicine for his seriously ailing mother, he was stopped by a man with a knife. He SRT 41. A speeding car hit against a bullock cart, seriously injuring its driver. The car driver escaped unhurt and took the injured man to the hospital. However, the hospital staff was on strike. He SRT 42. On account of a land dispute, his uncle was threatening to shoot his brother. Both were armed. He SRT 43. The friendly discussion took a heated turn and he SRT 44. He did not know how to swim. His friends who know swimming insisted on his jumping into the pond and promised to help him. He SRT 45. He was swimming in a pool when he saw a boy about to be drowned. He SRT 46. Early in the day he had set out with his younger brother for hunting in the forest. They got a deer and few birds, but lost their way as it had grown very dark. He SRT 47. He was appointed monitor of the class. He SRT 48. He was returning alone from a cinema late one night. It started raining heavily, and there was no shelter on the way. He SRT 49. His father needed special treatment in the capital, and they were already short of money. He SRT 50. A live wire lying in flooded street, and he saw a laborer stepping over it and falling unconscious. He SRT 51. He had boarded a wrong train and came to know of it only when he asked to pay more money. He SRT 52. His father required a lot of his attention as he was ailing, but his examination was also drawing near. He SRT 53. They had gone to the outskirts of the town for firing practice. On their way back, they had to cross a river which had become overflooded. It was winter time and night had fallen. He SRT 54. He returned home to find his father dead, his mother fainting away, and his brothers and sisters weeping helplessly. He will. SRT 55. He had gone to buy stamps from the post office, but he saw a lot of people already crowding and quarreling with each other to get first place. He SRT 56. His parents burst into tears just as he was about to leave for his SSB interview. He will. SRT 57. He had hardly stepped in the express train when it started moving. His luggage was still to come. He will. SRT 58. He was idly walking by the canal side where a small boy was swimming with the help of an inflated tube. Suddenly he noticed that the tube had become flat. He will. SRT 59. When he comes to conflict with others, he. SRT 60. He was serving in a medical unit, which was attached to an engineering company detailed to clear the mines. The foot of the Havaldar was blasted by a mine, and the others were afraid of entering the area, and so he.
Dear students, you have given the SRT test and you must have checked now that you have attempted n number. You must have realized that your speed of reaction was slow, or you were writing incomplete, or you could not write very clearly. Now, this is something when you go back and revise, you will automatically improve your response. Anything which has been given in SRTs are from day-to-day circumstances, which you can rightly understand if you have the right attitude. If you have some attitudinal problem, you will also be able to decode them. So rereading your own SRTs will give you a wonderful opportunity to looking into your own personality. Please don't dump your personality on others, and don't expect others to tell you. Many times when you do all this, you land up in a bad whirlpool where people make a fun of you. So if you just read these reactions and you think, are they appropriate, you can search the net. We already have a lot of solutions given in our different groups and different areas where sensibility is the key, common sense is the key, the logical is the key, and the solution is the key. Solution means the situation which is given should be amicably resolved. And that's exactly what they're looking at. They're looking at a very broad perspective, healthy perspective of solving things. Because when you become a leader and an armed forces officer, you are expected to do that. So if you read all of these SRTs properly, you'll come to know that you could have done better, or what you did was not appropriate, so you can correct, and keep doing all these different tests by your own self, and you'll do wonders. Still you have a problem, you can go back to our sessions and understand what SRT is all about. Next, if you still have another problem, you can send us your assessment and we'll oblige you back. God bless you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.